Hello, welcome to my messy fingers. I'm Charlie. We are now working on your next page. Oh, let me get the book. To your Ciao Bella Wizard Academy collection. The page we're working on now is page number 4. And I have already pre-cut, pre-inked the page that we're going to be building. And I just want to... It's easier if we just build it. I've been trying to show you what it's going to look like, but it ends up being kind of a springboard mess. But this is essentially what the outside of it's going to look like. But let's get right into this. So if you're taking measurements, you might want to have a pen, a piece of paper, pencil ready to go. As always, we're cutting at 8 3/8. And 8 3/4 for the base. And then from here, we're going to be building up. All right, so our first, I want to put my right side and my left side separate. So your left side panel, your outside left side panel is going to measure 7.5 inches, scoring at 1/2 and scoring at 5/8, and obviously it is the length of your base page. The next page that's going to, oh, I am so sorry. I think I've gotten things a little, oh, here we go, a little bit mixed up. Before this goes down, we're going to lay this piece down. It measures across at 4.5, and you're going to score it at 1/2 along the length. So let's go ahead and let's get this piece down. And I need my cheat sheet so I can see what I'm doing here. All right. Now, as I always do, you're going to bring your base up next to your scored line. Stand it up tall, press it down, and then we're going to burnish. So that's going to lay flat there. Now we're going to add this piece in because it's got that 1/8. I just lost the word for it. I'm concentrating so hard I forgot what it's called. It'll come to me. Gusset. It's a gusset. Goodness sakes. Silly, silly, silly. So you have an 1/8 inch gusset on this side, and the purpose of that is so that when this piece folds over, there's room to absorb this thickness, and there's also going to be a pocket here. So we want to make sure that we've got enough room here to handle that. So we're going to turn it over. And I want to take this right up to that 1/2 inch score line. Make sure that it's in there nice and snug. And then we're going to fold it over and burnish. Now we have this additional 1/8 inch score mark here. We're going to fold back against that because we really want to burnish that to encourage it to stand up so that we have this gusset right here. Now this is our pocket. It's going to sit right in here. So let's go ahead and add our tape. Oh, excuse me, I'm terribly sorry. This piece is measuring in at 3 1/16, or 3 and it's just over 3.5 inches. And obviously it's the length. And the reason it's that big is because I want to utilize this piece that you're going to be cutting here in a little bit. Okay, let's take the tape off. And then I'm going to just line right up to the very edge. Lay it down. Give it a good burnish. So now that is your left side build of this signature. Now we're going to do our right side build. You're going to have 3 pieces on this side. We're going to have a pocket. So your pocket piece should measure about 6 and 1. I've got just a hair over 6 1/8. So you could go 6 1/8 to 6 1/4 if you want to make your cuts easy. The length, so that it will fit in the pocket, I have cut down to 8 1/2. Now your main piece that's going to go on the left side is cut at 6 5/8. And you're going to score it at 1/2, and you're going to score it at 5/8. 6 5/8. And obviously it is the length at 8 3/4. This is your pocket piece that's going to fit here. This measures 9 3/4 by 6, and you're going to score it at 1/2 on both ends. So let's put this together because it's going to be, I think, easier before we put the page down. So I'm going to run a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch tape. I don't want to go any wider than that because I want this room once this pocket is on. And we're going to give it a good burnish. And then making sure that the taped side is what's going to go here against this first score line, your 5/8 score line. Oh, and you know what I did? I put the tape on the wrong side. Oh, for Pete's sake. I'm trying to think of how I can, short of taking the tape off, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to do here. Because when this folds over, it needs to tape down on the inside, and I was not paying attention to what direction I was putting that on. So if you will pardon me, I do not want tape on the outside of that. It's just going to be a waste. This is one of scrapbook.com silicone mats that I'm using, and I'm finding that it is better to play on this with my undo so it's not soaking my working pad underneath. I found in previous videos that after I got done, it developed a little bit of a warp. So I looked for something that would allow me to just quickly, I don't care if this tears because it's going to get hidden, but I do want it to come off of there.
Tempur-Pedic adapts to your body's needs.
I apologize. There we go. 'Tis my best friend. I'm going to supply a link to you guys to this. You can find it at on Amazon in a 2-pack. I think you can find it in several packs. I just buy it in the 2-pack. Okay. The undo is making this not stick very well. It's going to take a little bit for it to dry, but the undo does dry fairly quickly, but unfortunately not quick enough for my taste. Come on, this, if I can just get it started. Okay. There, I think I got it started. Now I can just lift this off and the tape will stay right in place. There we go. And then I'm going to fold this over because now I want to create my pocket, and the tape will help hold that down. See if this is dried enough to let me in there. Okay. All right, now I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to line it up to the top edge. I'm going to push it right up next to that score mark. Peel my fingers away from the tape. Oh, this piece is not wanting to stay down. There we go. Ah, patience wins. All right, now we're going to take tape and we're going to add it here on the end. Burnish. And then I want to turn this over and bring this right up to this edge. And there is our pocket piece. So this piece that we cut for our pocket should fit right in there. And cutting it the way I do, it leaves a 1/2 inch that it hangs out on the end. And just in case, I did give you the measurements for this. Okay. I can actually leave that in there for the moment. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start covering everything on the front. Before we do that, magnet. Okay, so I'm going to place the magnet over here on this side so that it sits over here where I want it. Come in about 1 inch. Lay it down, making sure that my edges are still sharp on both sides. And there's my magnet. Now, on your previous cut, you had a piece where you were cutting these trims off. And I told you to be careful with what you did with it because I was going to play with that piece. And that's this right here. So that it fits the front, and this is a 12 by 12 sheet that I cut down to fit, and it is the reverse side because there were 2 pieces of this. It's the reverse side. I cut to fit this piece right here. And I wanted this to sit about so. And then I'm going to have you trim this piece, and it's going to fit in right here at the top. So this right here, what it measures out to be is 6 3/4 by 6 1/8. And then you are going to trim to fit because you've got extra over here, you've got stuff on the top. But I would like for you to trim to fit this cardstock piece. And then, like I said, we're going to add it right here. This, I ended up trimming this piece down to 1 7/8 by 6 3/4. And then I took a scrap black cardstock and cut it to fit so that there was a little bit of a trim. And like I said, that's going to go up there. All right, so let's put this down first, your base. And I'm going to try and glue this. I've got restocked on my glue, but hopefully it doesn't dry before I get everywhere I need it to go. And I know you're looking at this cockeyed, the pattern on the reverse, it doesn't matter how you cut this piece, just so as it is cut to fit right in here. Okay. All right, now I want to place this one first. Center it top to bottom with the spacing that you want to have, and I like it just about an 1/8. Nothing, certainly nothing larger than that. Now this piece, I will use tape on this because it's going on the front and I want to be able to move it if I have to. And it fits so that there's a nice row here. It fits right in there. I'm going to put glue on this and put it on its piece of cardstock. I'm not going to put this down yet because there's something else I want to do. Even, I try to get it even all the way around. Okay. So I want a little bit of a trim up there. And then this piece here, I want a space in between the two. Now in your collection, you're gonna grab a piece of blank cardstock, your spare cardstock. There is this card element. We are going to take and cut. This piece ended up being 6 inches. Scored it at 3 using 2 small magnets. This is going to come under here, flush with the bottom, and then this is going to go here so that you have a little open flap. From your scraps, find a piece that you want to use, and we're going to cut to fit a piece for this side. So let's get these two put together. Yeah. I was second guessing myself for a minute. Because this, I don't want to put glue on this. All right, let's take this off. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to line this right up to the score mark. Line it up across the bottom and let the magnet pieces find each other. And then I'm going to burnish. I only needed to put tape on 3 sides. So you have your... This is the piece I chose. I want you to be able to journal on the inside, either for a dedication or a date. I forgot to ink this little piece. And then we're going to tape this in. Cut the little tags off. sneak right in here, frame it up on that side, and I've got plenty of room next to my score line. And that's going to go over there. And I'm free to go ahead and glue this piece on because there's no magnets involved.
Days are just a suggestion, okay? You can't let a calendar control your life. Yeah. You can't let a calendar.
Set that right in there. Bring it down just a little bit. Burnish. Now, we're going to tape and add this. We know where we want everything to be with a little bit of spacing in between each other. I'm going to use a little bit wider tape, just simply because there's extra weight on this and I don't want this separating away, and I do not want to use glue on this piece. Just my preference. All right, I'm going to take the bottom piece off. Whoops. And I'm going to place it first. We've eyeballed it. We know just about what we want. And then I'll come in here and I'll take the rest of the tape off. You can certainly take your tape off 100% if you want to do it that way. It's your album. Okay. Burnish it. And then this piece I will go ahead and glue. Okay, I'm going to space it. I'm going to space it left to right because this piece is shorter than this, so I want it kind of in the middle. Center it in there. Center it on the top, leaving a space in between, and then down she goes. And this is, it says here, it's time to start something new and trust the magic of new beginnings. I think that sounds kind of cool. All right, so over here on this panel, I'm going to take this out for just a second. There is a 12 by 12 sheet that has some keys and envelopes and other little trinkets on it. I'm going to use this side because I'm using this in another spot. So this is going to sit right here, and with the magnet we're going to go ahead and run tape. And I am going to run tape on the reverse side. This roll of tape, I think I mentioned it in a previous video, not real happy with it. And it starts to separate, making it hard to work with at times. It won't stay on the roll. It likes to unravel. And I know I'm entitled to make reviews. And I'm not real pleased with this score tape. holds once it gets down on the paper. It holds, that's not the issue. It is all about its workability and the roll itself not falling apart that I have issue with. Okay, so enough said. Let's move on. Okay, I'm going to line it up to the outside because I know what I want to see there. And if I line it up top to bottom, and then straighten this out here. Now let's go ahead and deal with this because I'm going to put this back in. I want it out of the way. This is your pocket piece. This is a 1/2 inch. I'm going to come just a hair off this side here and lay this down. But before I do, I have been working with some of the trinkets that came with this paper collection. I like this one. I'm going to use this one. But these little trinkets I've been using as the little pulls for the pull out. Now I'm using, because I didn't have a cloth type ribbon, I'm using a paper rolled ribbon. I have a spool of it. I've got to use it. I'm going to flatten it out a little bit. And then I'm going to eyeball just about the middle where I want to put this. Just eyeball it. Just pull that out a little. Stick that down. And then I'm going to take another piece of tape and go over the top of that, and then I'm just going to burnish this. I really want this thing to flatten as much as I can. I'm going to trim off the rest of that. And now this piece, this is going to go in this way. Do I want to move that up a little bit, or does it really matter? They're staggering. I do want to move this up just a little bit. I have a habit of pulling my work towards me so I can see it better. So sometimes I don't get quite where I want things to be. So let's do it sideways because I do want this about center. Probably should have done that to begin with. Now I gotta pull that out just a hair. I don't want the knot underneath of there. That little thing is not going to stick to that tape. Oh, for Pete's sake. I guess I'm just going to have to attack it the best this way. Pull that out just a little bit. I do not know why that's giving me such a hard time right at the moment. I'm going to push that off the edge just a hair because that's where I want my, that's where I want this piece to go. Now it's going to come in this way. I want this on the bottom. That's why I'm kind of messing with this. All right. 3/8 of an inch should work on a 1/2 inch strip fairly decently. little bead of glue down that edge because it didn't have any tape on it. And then I'm going to come just a hair off the edge. Now I am going to take some very sharp scissors and cut that out of there because I don't want any it sticking. There we go. All right, so this is going to go in my pocket. And I'm just going ahead and put it in there now. Now on this side is the reverse of what we were just playing with. So this is going to go in here on this panel piece. This is the back side to the pull out right there. All right. So I'm going to dollop a tad bit of glue. And I'm going to watch my bottom. I need to pull that down just a smidge.
One on Etsy makes it easy to find incredible gifts made by independent
There we
sellers
go.
for anyone and any occasion, including your group children. Shop Gift Mode, new and on Etsy.
I'm working on black again, and it makes it difficult to see. There we go. I felt some tackiness here. I thought maybe I had a piece. Okay, this guy. You're going to cut to fit because you're going to lose the top of the arch. I wanted this time to make the magic happen. I wanted that to show. I did not want to cut that. I thought it better to lose the top of the arch and put him in here like so. This piece is a part of this piece. This is your 12 by 12 piece, but I'm going to put this over here. Someone's sitting just outside the library, and then we're going to use this piece in here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue. So that the crow's overlooking everything that's going on in the middle. Snug that right up there. Make sure I've got my edge here. Now, when I mentioned sitting outside the library, you should have this piece in your scraps. I love using the scraps because then it's not a waste of paper. So here's where that piece is going to go, and this is what I meant by someone sitting outside the library. So we're going to go ahead and glue this piece down. I love the back side of this. There should be another sheet of this. I'm hoping to be able to use this bronzy looking piece here a little bit later in the album making process. So now we're going to set this right in here. I'm going to close this for now. This being the piece that's got the tape on it, we're going to go ahead and tape the back side of this. This sure is pretty. Isn't that pretty? A little bit of script on the bottom of this. Makes it tough to decide sometimes which side to use. It takes, the way I build albums, it takes me about 4 packets, 2 of the patterns if they have it available, and 2 of your core paper designs. They only have 10 sheets in each packet, and if you're only going to be able to use one side at a time, that's 10, not 20 to play with. And then you have a page or 2 of cutouts. So you're down to 8 or less working sheets to make an album. So it always takes me 4 to build one of these, and I've come up short a couple times where I've had to go and purchase an extra sheet or 2. I'm not the type of builder that builds skinny books or little books or single page books. I like to make an album, and I want the album in some fashion to tell a story as you're flipping through the pages. So that's why I love these elements, and to me it made sense when I was looking through what I had that someone is sitting outside the library in front of the fireplace enjoying reading the books or just enjoying the crackle of the fire. Okay, so then the back side of this, in my scraps, I had this beautiful green piece, so I'm going to put this down. On the reverse, it had a part of the bottom of the staircase from a previous cut.
If you're smart enough to know a good wireless deal.
And it is I'm going to pull this up real quick because I'm not allowing myself enough room on my right hand side, and or my left hand side. Okay, I wanted a little bit of a black rim there. Okay, now I have one more piece that I wanted to add, and that is going to be this. It's going to be a pocket on this side, and this piece here from my scraps, I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to use the reverse. Get this on here. I think I can see what I'm doing here. And I'm looking at this thinking how plain this kind of is once that gets up there. I'm going to look real quick through the cards and the cut aparts, and I'm going to look to see if there's an element that we can add real quick that will kind of take up that plain space. All right, so this should fit from the corner, the edge of this pocket, right straight across. You do not want to encroach on your gusset that's right there. But I really think this needs something, so let's take a look and let's see. Oh, I've got a stack of books. I've got this book. There's a couple of books here. We have some of these card elements. I like this idea. Let's see what we have. Oh, look at this dude here. And we have the wizard, and we have magical world. That's the piece I want right there. Let me clean up my mess. I'm going to very quickly ink this edge. And then I'm going to dig through my black cardstock trimmings over here and find a piece large enough to accommodate this. So here we go, right here. I think not only can I see this better, you should be able to see it better if I use my white paper. So I'm just making some tick marks where I want to trim. And now I'm going to apologize, but I need to bring my trimmer into me. And I apologize for the loud snap. I want this in here at an angle. And so that this could be used as a tuck, I'm only going to put tape a little bit here and across this bottom. Just so that it has some stability and it doesn't end up bowing forward if you're tucking something in there. I want it to kind of stay in place.
New chapter, new priorities.
All right, so you got your pocket, and we're going to add a slant, put this in here, so then you also have a tuck. All right, so if we close this up, this is the front. You should have it finished. This is a little open flap here. Beautiful left panel with the seating area in front of the fireplace. This is room here to put a photo. You have your pull out here. And then on this side, we have ourselves another pocket with a tuck. And then here you've got a spot to put a couple of photos, and then you've got a big pocket, and you've got lots of room for either journaling, telling your story, or putting a photo there. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's put tape on the back for mounting in our album. Get my fingertip on there. I decided I would try a little bit of smooth jazz in the background. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's, I like it. I like smooth jazz. And I thought it would be nice so that you're not listening, if you can hear it, that you're not just listening to dead silence when I go silent. So appreciate any kind comments that you might provide as to whether you could hear it and did it do its job for filling in that dead air space. Okay, so that's ready to go. Let's go ahead and let's open this. We have everything we need is in there. If you've followed along on any of my videos, you know I always take the centerpiece off first. And I'm going to turn it this way so that I can see this end, this end, and this end when I'm mounting it in here to make sure that I'm getting it in there square, top to bottom on the end, and then I'm just going to lay it down. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to burnish because I am now going to go in here and start picking the tape out. I know this probably looks bizarre to some of you. I've just made too many mistakes early on in my years of making these and have grown accustomed to taking the tape off that way. I don't feel like I'm going to make an error, but tape can be difficult to remove if you place it in here wrong. Okay, so we have our flap open. We have our pocket, our other flap with a tuck, our big pocket, and a spot for our photos. So there you have it, folks. That is a completion of that page. So please return for the next one. See you soon.